This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Didn't go as well as I hoped.
It felt a bit like you lost your commitment to the Instagram.
I you know what? It surprised me. I didn't see it coming.
Right.
I'd forgot that we had an Instagram thing.
Yes,
and then
the
it
news
came
thing.
up on the... you know when people overtake you on the inside, you think, I'll pull in now. You think, whoa,
Yes.
I didn't see them there. It was like that.
That's right, it's a very dangerous move and we should avoid undertaking.
Undertaking. There used to be a caption about if you undertake, you'll meet the Undertaker or something like that.
Oh, that's sophisticated.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Archie's.
different times.
Different time.
So, Leicester City won 9-0 last night.
I know.
Spoiler
Away
alert,
from
I've
home.
taped it.
Oh,
I am.
I've taped it. Well, you're going to get Dickie Davis announcing the results to you.
It was like the old glory days.
The olden days. Oh.
I wonder what Claudio Ranieri thinks when he says that. I always imagine Claudio, you know, he's got that sort of very sad, downturned mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I always imagine Claudio Ranieri walking around the streets somewhere in Italy going, Pinocchio, where are you?
He's a bit, hey there, you with the sad face.
Pinocchio, come back. Why you leave me, Pinocchio? Anyway, that's
Frank, Reiki Dreams has been in touch.
Oh, is it Reiki or Reiki?
Oh, I think it's text in. You know what? I'm going to let you have this one.
I don't know. I wasn't voting for either. Is it like?
It feels, no offence, it feels more my world.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Reiki massage thing.
Yeah,
Sort of-
Reiki or Reiki.
Is it a
I
head
don't-
massage? Is that what it is? Is it the scalp?
I don't know. I learned.
Yes.
I train.
Is it or isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
No,
I don't know.
it's more of a body. I've done Reiki actually.
Okay. I do a lot of Reiki now. It's autumn.
Hey! I enjoyed that.
Anyway.
I loved it because it was very 70s in so many ways.
But it's a fabulous comedy item, of course, because if you step on the
Right.
rake, of course, you get the smack in the face,
Yes.
which is perfect.
So Reiki Dreams has said, do you remember the old shoemakers in Cobbler's windows? I really like those.
I still see those.
Do you?
Is this a contribution to our automaton conversation?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, but they weren't.
You know, all they really do
weren't
is that.
animatronic. There was no moving facial expression.
True.
Things. I think for an animatronic, you got to have the eyes rolling and things like
Yeah.
that.
For the shoemaker, then what happens? They descend
I
onto
think
the
the
shoe.
right arm just goes up,
Arm up,
and,
down.
up and down.
I see them in an apron
it
descending
simple, yeah.
onto the.
Old guy, spectacles, Spalding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pinocchio. why you leave me? Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes, I don't know what. They're still around. Great news. If I see one, I'll take a photo.
I did like that when
What
you
a
had
load
that
of
with the
cobblers.
shop, though. Lovely, Al.
Thank you.
When you had a sort of a piece of iconography, if you like, that you knew that was that kind of shop, like the swirly barbers thing outside. Do you see?
And grass in the front window of a butcher's. That's gone as well, hasn't it?
You're so right, Al.
Well, I went. Do you remember I spoke recently of Boiler Man?
I do.
Yes.
And Boiler Man, in case you don't know out there, is a man dressed as a combi boiler who is one of the mascots for West Bromwich Albion. And I was a big fan of Boiler Man. And then they added stripes to him this season to make him look more like the West Brom shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke out about this, and then someone, if you remember, texted in and said, well, they've took the stripes aren't on him anymore, so maybe this is, I think they called it an Andrew Lloyd Webber, because
Yes.
I'd already changed an encore sound of music by my enormous
You wield
influence.
such great power.
Opinion former. So I went to the match on Tuesday night against Barnsley. Who should I bump into but Boiler Man? Head off.
Shut up.
Head off.
No
No.
way.
Yeah.
Because they've, as you know,
Quite a big spoiler, that.
but also the strict rules, Disney. I mean,
Yes, they left
instant
because
dismissal.
Baggy Bird also head off was talking to me as well.
Baggy Bird, oh yeah.
So anyway,
That wasn't me,
we
by the way.
no, we had
That wasn't Frank promoting an interview we once did, saying Baggy Bird was talking to me.
besides you've had all that sorted, haven't you?
Yeah, I know. I've got the bandages.
Once you do the pelvic floor exercise.
It's absolute Frank.
Anyway,
Taking it disgusting.
I have. I have.
Always do.
Always.
Okay,
Anyway,
meanwhile-
so he said to me, I said, "So you've took the stripes off?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "We heard that you talked about it on the radio."
Oh, shut
show."
your boiler.
And he held up this blue, like spaghetti type mass, and it was the stripes that they'd peeled off him.
Are you joking?
So I had my photo took with him and the discarded stripes, which I will put up on social media.
So, am I to understand the stripes were removed from the mascot as the direct result of you?
Well, that's what he intimated
Power.
to me. I don't think Boilerman would lie.
Great power.
Well, can we talk about Garnosaurus Rex next? Because I have some words on him.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
That's the Arsenal mascot.
Oh,
He's a dinosaur but I don't like the shirt. It's all cropped. You can't have a dinosaur in a cropped shirt.
well, okay.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank, you won't like this.
Oh,
Oh,
don't read those ones out.
yeah, I've told you not to ever read those ones out.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel.
If you don't know,
Well, no, I do know actually. I'm just going to do it. He won't like it because it's praise.
Oh,
But someone just said, I just left the god. Frank, someone thinks you're a god.
I can't accept that.
Yeah, but they haven't seen you for 20 years.
Ah,
And they... no, you don't like... This is why I didn't know how it would go if I read that to you.
right.
But they loved you anyway. And they're going to see you in London, apparently. That's how much they loved you.
Okay. It's a strange, mystical message, that. They just saw me where? Doing what?
They saw you in Leeds doing your
Oh,
show.
oh, okay.
As good as I wish. But they said just left the god, Frank, in Leeds. And I didn't know what to make of it. They loved you so much they're going to see you in London, apparently. Which is at the Garrick Theatre, please, in January. So you should go and see it. Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
I shall be
curious.
appearing at the Garrick Theatre in London in the new year.
Yeah, but these men are coming to the front row, Frank. They say, look forward to gentle abuse.
Well,
I'm
and they're
concerned.
doing there's a front row prize that Absolute are doing that you can win. I think they're basically
They're
one
giving
night
away-
Absolute are having the front row.
The whole front row.
I think that's
Oh, I'm
their
going to
plan.
be on that. Well, this
Now you have to win. I don't know what
there
you
are
know, you
ways,
we
love.
can probably rig that, can't we? We work here.
Well, look out on the front row for Dominic Strangeways. I don't know if he's connected with the prison.
win.
But yeah, it could be like an
This is-
old-fashioned
I
surname.
once got
Dominic from Strangeways.
Dominic, Strangeways. Al, Dartmoor.
or it could just be what he's nicknamed. Anyway, I once got a letter from the Reader's Digest.
Oh, what year was this?
saying many years ago, saying I'd been invited to take part in their prize draw, but hadn't replied to any of their letters.
Yeah.
And the guy who supposedly wrote it
Yeah.
said, he said, "No, I work for Reader's Digest, so I'm not eligible to take part in the prize draw." He said, "My family are constantly going on to me, oh, why can't we be in the prize draw?" He said, and then I remember one paragraph begins, "So imagine how us ineligibles feel when someone who's invited to take part in the prize draw does not reply to our letter." It was surreal.
Yeah.
How
Passive-aggressive.
great it was, yeah. From the Reader's Digest. Still going, I think.
I think it's moved online.
No.
I think.
I think I've seen it in
in the
Motorway
flesh?
Services,
In the flesh?
WH Smith's.
All right.
Yeah.
take
So
it back.
is Reader's Digest still available in hard copy, 8, 12, 15?
Well, you say hard copy, Frank. I always remember it having very flimsy covers. Do you not recall? Not very.
Well, it's a magazine, though. It's not a. So it's supposed to have a soft cover.
Yeah.
I remember such classics as Sude's Corner.
People always had them in the.
I Am John's
bathroom.
Pancreas. Yeah, there used to be a lot of that. I am Susan's aorta, and then it would be written as if it was the aorta, right?
really?
Yeah. Oh, there was a lot of organ-based prose in there.
excellent.
Yeah. I haven't seen one for a long time, but I bet it's still rocking.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a missive in from Chris, which I'd like to share with you.
Oh yeah.
He's actually given a name to our pain. Accidentally improved lyrics, he calls it.
Oh yes.
Do we want to recap on this, Frank?
Yeah,
Just
it's
to
basically-
clarify what it's not.
Well, one of the worst things you can do on any radio show is misheard lyrics, where people say, "Oh, I thought he said spares him his life from his hot sausages."
Yeah,
You know,
or me ears are alight.
You
But
say
I-
one of the worst things, but it doesn't stop people doing it, does
No,
it?
nothing. But you can
Don't do
say
it
one
to
of the
us.
worst things about all sorts of things
Yes.
that people still carry on doing.
Please don't send us those.
Yeah, whilst we're on the
but-
worst things people can do, can people stop trying to lift their suitcases with the extended handle bit?
Well, can people stop having suitcases with extended handles?
But if they have,
Okay.
don't use the extended handle because things get heavier at the end of a lever. It's so much easier if you hold the actual...
All right, Pythagoras.
Yeah, thank you.
Great insult. This is such a Pythagoras.
This old chestnut of an insult.
Such a Euripides.
Sorry,
So
carry on.
yeah, but occasionally, like I don't want to do the example every week, but like with Rhinestone Cowboy, I
Yes.
misheard a lyric, and my version was better than the real lyric.
Yes.
And a couple of people have sent in lyrics. There are definitely improvements.
So Chris Banner, I don't know if he's a relation to the Incredible Hulk.
Bruce.
Yes. Well, who was it? David Banner, was that the change for
That
the
was
TV, show?
one, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
for some reason they thought Bruce. I remember they did a joke in Mad Comic, which I used to love. Remember Mad Comic?
Yes,
Alfred E. Newman.
Alfred E. Newman.
And they did a joke saying, "Oh well, they can't have Bruce for the Hulk's name because
Why?
it's not masculine enough." And then in the background, they had Bruce Jenner on the telly winning a gold medal in the thing.
Okay.
It's a joke that's gone through many changes since.
Interesting how that's panned out, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
Comedy,
Chris
it's got a
Banner-
fierce shelf life.
I don't know if Chris Banner is related to Dr. David / Bruce Banner.
No.
However, I like the cut of his jib. Hi, Frank, Al and Emily. All sorts of praise omitted for all three of you. Books and stand-up, etc. A very subtle, mistakenly improved lyric that I was disappointed to discover this year was in Toto's Africa. I always thought...
Is Toto's Africa the one that goes, we got it, go something down in Africa? Is it that one?
Yeah.
It makes it sound Africa sound like Luton. Because when are you down in Africa? I mean, it's like an
Sounds-
enormous continent.
makes it sound a bit like the Bullring Shopping Centre.
Yeah, I might nip to Africa.
Yeah. Anyway,
See how they're
I
getting
always
on.
thought it's going to take the lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do.
Oh, yeah.
Implying that it's going to take absolutely everything they've got. They're going to have to throw the lot at me to drag me away
The
from
kitchen
you.
sink.
Imagine my disappointment that the real lyric is the rather weak a lot. Hence, it's going to take a lot to drag me away from you.
Yeah.
Implying that I can be dragged away. It's just going to take a little bit of effort. It's a very subtle, but so often the real joy is found in the nuance.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, Chris. Love
Yeah.
you, Chris.
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been Charlotte. It's going to take Charlotte to get to drag me away from you. I mean, in a series of gifs, enticing away gifs. You know, the carrot on the stick. But I love a shallot.
Frank, that would be true of me because, as you know, that's an absolute deal breaker for me. People that eat onions and shallots. It's going to take shallot to drag me away from you.
Or maybe what could put him off the woman is if she wore culottes, and he really didn't like them. He preferred it sans culottes, as I think was the name of the. Weren't they a French Revolution group, the sans culottes? I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't wear culottes.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. Thanks for that. And yes, I've actually got an improved lyric of my own, but it'll have to be after this message.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Al, you were talking about suitcases earlier. Mikey, who I believe is one of our regulars, has been in touch. On the subject of suitcases, if you check out of your hotel in the early morning, please carry your suitcase if the pathway is cobbled. Some Victorian advice there from Mikey.
More advice from me. Don't have suitcases with wheels on them.
Why
Won't
not?
be a problem.
Yeah, but you can't do your back
I do agree with that. But those that have got the wheels, well,
what do you do then? What, you'd rather strain your back just because you think they don't look cool?
No, I'd rather strain my back because I think we're in the middle of a national obesity crisis, and we're saying to people, I say it's a good idea. You don't have to carry your own luggage anymore. So people pack more than they need to pack.
Yeah.
And then they take luggage with wheels on as hand luggage. It's a contradiction.
Next week on Puritans Weekly.
I really hate it. And whenever I see anyone with one, I always think a little bit less of them.
I always think a bit apprentice candidate.
Yeah.
Being booted out the house.
Or maybe take me out, arriving at take me out.
I've got a misheard lyric email, but I believe that you've got one that you were going to explain.
Oh no, but I always the reader always comes first. I mean,
Really?
it's not about me.
Can you make a note of
Surprised
that?
to hear
Because
that.
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh no, hold on. No, it is about. Sorry, it is about me. Sorry, I misread that. It is about. I've got a thing on the wall here, a lovely sampler that was done by a old lady I know. Beautiful needlework. And
Again,
it says
thank
it's
you.
all about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, carry on with the readers.
Hi all, I know you have a feature where lyrics have been misheard and sometimes improved.
No, they have to be improved.
That's the point.
Well, this is probably not the case in this instance, as this
Okay,
refers
I want
to
to
the
veto
song.
it.
No,
Veto
well,
it.
I
Can
think
we
it,
check it? It's not a
I
misheard
think
lyric,
it does.
is it?
I think it does. And
Yeah,
it's
but
got
what
an
if-
interesting bit of vocab.
But is it a
for us.
misheard?
Yes,
Oh, but you see, this concerns
but I think
me.
it is improved and is interesting.
Go
But
on.
we can ditch Steve. We can drop
I don't
him
want
like
to
a
ditch
hot
Steve.
potato if
Not
you
now.
wish.
You've teased him.
On the Joker by the Steve Miller Band, I've always heard him sing Because I Speak of the Properties of Love. Whilst listening to sounds of the 70s on a rival station, Bob Harris revealed that they are singing Because I Speak of the Pompetus of Love.
The what?
Pompetus. Pompatus. Nearly everyone I've asked on the matter have said they thought it was properties, except one who said he thought it was prophecy, which may count as an improved lyric. Have the gang been singing properties, or did you know of the word pompetus, which apparently means splendid?
Really?
Wow. Pompous.
Blow
Yeah.
me down with a leaf blower. I would say
I'm going
said.
to have to come back to this because I can't quite hear it at the moment, and
I
I can't hear what context.
I can. I
happened.
speak
Well, we've
of
got-
the properties of love.
So he's speaking of the glories of love
No, it's
in its
properties.
pompetus.
Yeah.
Also, the properties of love sounds like those flats that Benny Hill used to buy for Hill's Angels.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Well, we've already had 656 text in saying, I've always sang pompetus, but never knew its meaning. Thanks for the information.
So, Frankie Miller, is he?
Steve Miller.
Band.
Steve Miller.
I speak of the pompetus of love.
Yes,
But we don't know what that is.
it's a good rendition. Well, it means
As he said, it means splendour.
splendid.
Does it? It sounds
Yeah.
a bit more like your lot over in the Vatican. Sounds like it's connected with them.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
I might change it to Pontifex.
Yeah, that would certainly be
Speak
good.
of the Pontifex of love.
Oh, speaking of the Pontifex and Rome in general.
Is that his Latin name?
Sorry,
or
were you in the
something?
midst of something?
Sorry,
there?
Al.
No, it's fine.
I went to Chedworth Roman Villa this week.
Oh,
Did
big
you?
wow.
Do you know it?
No, I don't.
It's. I had an idea there.
Is it one of Abramovich's properties?
No, it's. I think it was owned by rich Romano Britons.
Oh, I don't know him.
You remember Fern Britton's husband?
He sounds a bit more like he'd be on the opening credits of Hawaii Five-0.
It's an incredible place, and we had the guide we had was brilliant because he did actually know a lot about archaeology, but he also said stuff like, then beginning of the 5th century, the Romans left to. What was that then? A strange voice came in. You did hear that, didn't you, guys?
Yes.
That's not the voice of some elderly relative of mine calling me.
It sounded like me.
So he said, so the Romans had to leave because they had to go around beating up the French. He said, obviously, I don't have a problem with that. And I thought, okay.
Wow.
And then there's another thing he said. He says, you know what it is? He said, because they had underfloor heating at this Roman villa. He said, you know what it is? He said, you girls, you went off to someone else's villa. You saw that they had underground heating.
Right.
You come back, you give the guy a bit of this.
Wow.
And he has to get underfloor.
Next thing, you'll be nagging him for an electric carving knife for Christmas. I know what you ladies are like.
It was a lot of you girls.
Yeah.
He was very good, though, I must say. But I had an idea while I was there. It was based on staring at the mosaic stones.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember we talked about OXO cubes?
We did.
Can I just say something? Do you know what I did as a direct result of that?
Go on.
Bought some OXO cubes.
And
Have
then
you tried
what?
them with an orange?
And then I thought, I'm going to have a little eat of this. And I peeled off the silver.
Oh, I can smell it now, just saying it.
Frank! I couldn't get through the whole thing, I'm not going to lie.
No, it's a lot of salt.
I had about 3 bites of the OXO cube and I thought of you.
And did you...
Don't be jealous, it doesn't look good on you. Just because we've got our OXO thing and you're not involved.
See, I think if you let the saliva form in your mouth, it's like making your own gravy in your mouth. I'm calling it mouth gravy.
Yeah.
Frank,
which is
isn't it
gross.
weird?
I mean, it
Yeah.
just sounds
Mouth
horrible.
gravy sounds a lot worse than it is. It's...
Oh my God.
No, I had the idea whilst looking at these different coloured mosaic stones.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you have like strawberry cubes, tea cubes,
Yeah.
milk cubes, and just add hot water to all of them?
Yeah.
And there's your drinks.
Or an entire meal in the cube. Not an entire meal,
That's
but
a
it'd
bit-
take...
It's a bit Apollo 11. No, but I think drink cubes, all different colours, and you could sell them in a mosaic design.
Oh,
You could buy a display case of them. Well, I mean, anyone's out there, you can have that idea. I don't want your royalties. I'm all right, thanks.
That's handy.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. So,
Okay.
I got sent a book. I got sent a couple of books, actually. I got sent a book called Tragedian by a guy called Ryan Day, who I have to say wrote me an accompanying letter completely done in block capitals.
Oh.
No need to shout.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ryan Day ends his letter, "Have a nice day." Is that a pun?
Oh, I think so.
Doesn't
You think?
Quite, quite work, does it? Unless
Have a nice day. Well, it does, but it,
if you were about to have a more intimate experience, it would work. But I'll tell you something about this book, and I can't quite work it out. It's got a lovely feel to the cover.
can I have a look?
Have a feel of that.
Gonna hand it around.
Oh, You know what it is? It's a bit like moleskin. It's a lovely velvety. It feels like a mole's pelt.
It's like velour.
It's a pelt.
It's like velour.
book.
Velour, but slightly clammy at the same time.
Children's book.
Can I hand it over to you?
Yes, please.
Do have a go.
Sort of
That is
clammy
smooth.
velour.
Yeah.
I mean,
Actually, wasn't Clammy Velour the character that Honor Blackman played in Goldfinger?
either that or she was one of those Hills Angels that Benny bought a flat for.
Gonna hand it around now.
Now, I'd like to talk to you boys about Kylie Jenner. Are you familiar with her?
She's one of the Kardashian
Correct.
group.
She broke up with her boyfriend recently, Frank, Travis Scott. Is that right? Children? Yeah. But she's still co-parent.
What does Travis Scott do?
What doesn't he do? He's a rapper.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
She's co-parenting.
Was he named after Dave Lee Travis?
Have a look at that.
The hairy cornflake.
I don't think
No, he
so.
probably wasn't.
No, I
Probably
don't think
wasn't.
so.
And Scott Mills, the parents were fans of both. But she's co-parenting.
I don't think you can be fans of both. I'll be straight with you. I think they're mutually exclusive. I've never met one person who likes DLT and Scott Mills.
Really?
No, they're very divisive.
Interesting. The demographic divides.
Yeah.
But she's still co-parenting Stormy with her, their child.
Oh, okay.
Stormy Scott.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a Stormy Jenner or it should be Stormy Scott. That's a better name.
Yeah,
More Hills
Stormy
Angels.
Scott sounds like one of your relatives, Al.
Sounds like Al.
Oh, he's
Sounds
very-
actually like Al.
Very Stormy Scott.
That's true, yeah.
So she posted a video of her the other day going into Stormy's room and she was singing a song.
How old is Stormy now?
I don't know, you seem like she's 75. How old is she now? The youths, a year maybe?
Oh, okay.
18
Still-
months?
still okay.
1.5, the boffins are telling me.
Okay.
And it was a video of her entering Stormy's room wearing an interesting choice of clothing for just slobbing around the house looking after the baby, which was a Chanel mini dress
Okay.
and a Perspex heel. And
Wow.
Exactly the same as I do a lot of my parenting in.
Maybe
Just saying.
just going out. You know, you go into, or maybe just got in. You know, when you get in from partying and you go in to see the sleeping
maybe, although
baby.
the Perspex heel has always worried me. It looks so sore.
I always
Seeing the squash toe,
yearn for live goldfish moving about inside.
Yeah.
I can't bear it. Anyway, she wandered into the room, and I think it was an 8-second clip of her singing to the child, "Rise and shine." She said it in her emotion, "Rise and shine." And it
Is
got...
Rise and Shine a well-known
No.
popular sale, isn't it?
She gave it a tune. She got over 1 billion views this
So
video.
it wasn't at night then? It couldn't have been at night. You wouldn't sing Rise and Shine at
No.
night. It was
No.
sing in the morning.
Oh, you're correct, Frank.
So she was wearing that get up on a morning. I see
Yeah.
Just got in.
Yeah.
Or just off out, maybe.
Maybe.
1 billion people watched it.
Did they?
Rise and shine.
Brilliant.
lot,
That's
isn't
brilliant, isn't it? Why aren't we killing ourselves writing jokes?
I mean, literally, all you need, Frank.
It's good.
Can I-
Rise and Shine. There you go.
Al, can we hear your version?
Rise and shine. I can't really commit
I like
to
it.
but-
What I liked is that yours combined it with an element of bleating,
Yes.
like a sheep.
Angsty.
Rise and shine. I like that because one associates like lambs frolicking early in the morning.
Yes.
Rise and shine.
Well, what's odd though? Well, we'll get on to this, but she's, you know, they're never one, to be fair to the Kardashians, to avoid a marketing or a merch
No,
opportunity.
they're very business minded.
Yes.
Very.
Are they though, or have they got business people who do all that
Oh,
for
this
them?
is true.
Brilliant,
Well, she's
either
the
way.
world's youngest billionaire, I believe, isn't she?
She
Yeah.
is not.
She's 21 or 22 and she's a billionaire. Yeah.
That is a lot.
What you talking about, Willis?
I mean, when I was 22 or 21, I wasn't even a millionaire.
Well,
No.
Just for context.
if
that's
I had
really
been
impressive.
a billionaire when I was 21, I almost certainly wouldn't have made 22. Raz and Shan would have been a priest talking to me as I lay in a gutter. But well done her. That's what I say.
Yeah.
We'll come back to. I've become ever more fan. I'm not. Just before we break off here, what is her relationship to Kim? If I see Kim Kardashian as the sort of hob of the wheel.
In the Venn diagram, she's the universal, exactly. So what you have
if Kim is the bullseye, is she a treble?
She is, well, I'll tell you what she is. She's obviously the half-sister. But interestingly, her and Kendall, it's interesting how it's happened that I think she's overtaken the rest of the family now.
She hasn't overtaken KK.
Financially, I believe she might have, yes.
Go, girl!
Yeah?
That was an exorcist turned up. Well done again.
Yeah.
Well done. Mazel tov, if you're listening, Kylie.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, Frank, I feel like you seem like you have a renewed respect for Kylie since you discovered she was the world's youngest billionaire.
Well, I only really became aware of her specifically reading this story.
Rise and shine.
And I Googled her to find out more. But then I was so shocked that when I put in Kylie, her name come up before Kylie Minogue. I was so taken aback I never went any further.
Yeah.
I had to have a sit down. So, you know what? I know one is supposed to be unkind about these people.
Yes.
But I
think you're unlikely to, because of your previously stated position about the resentment that people that have earned their money get compared to lottery winners. So I think you're predisposed to be a fan of the young billionaire.
Yes.
I also think that fame has always been a side effect of talent.
Yes.
And because people with talent have things to do, like, you know, they're the thing that they're talented
creating
at. And they're at rehearsals and they're writing and stuff. It means that fame has always been sort of half done. You know what I mean? It's done as a side effect. Because you say, well, look, okay, I'll do some interviews, but I know I've got to finish this book. Whereas because they don't do anything other than be famous, they can give it proper time.
They give it their all, these people.
And it's nice to see fame done really well. It makes me think if we'd have given more time to fame, we'd be richer people.
We should
explain, talent is so time-consuming.
Yeah.
Well, the whole creating thing.
And let's face it, you know, the bottom line is I think we all feel a bit more secure in the shallow end at the ball. And there's something very threatening and very sort of, you know, it's the Kardashians.
Careful about the bottom line, because I think she may have trademarked that name.
I see that as well.
Well, I don't know. She's asking to trade. She's applied already to trademark rise and shine as a phrase.
Rise and shine.
I must admit, I've never heard it before.
Never heard Rise and Shine?
No.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of kids' TV presenters that are going to have to pay some back pay on that.
Well, do you know where it's originally from?
Rise and Shine?
No.
The Sun?
I believe.
Is it from the Sun?
It's from his lot.
Oh.
I believe it's in Isaiah.
Is it really?
The original, but it's arise. They put a twist on it in the Bible.
Arise and shine.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so. It's about doing God's
work.
Or one
of those. Might be able to wiggle out of it on a technicality.
Yes,
I discovered where the references were prior to her. It's your lot, and then also Tennessee Williams, I believe.
Right.
Rise and shine.
Yes.
Makes sense.
I remember when Gareth Bale, there was a story that he was going to patent that, you know, that when you do that heart thing with your fingers, you make the shape of a heart.
You owe him money now that you've done that.
Yeah, and I don't think, mate, I think this has become a showbiz trope, the theory that people are going to patent things that are very unpatentable.
She is, though,
patentable.
Because they have the paperwork. I've seen the paperwork.
No,
I'm doing it on Outdo.
She's not stupid,
in
Frank.
Yorkshire.
No, I'm not saying she's stupid.
She is going to release. She wants to release. We should say. Have you seen the Rise and Shine hoodies? Rise and shine. Can you do yours, Al?
Rise and shine.
Well, £65 they are. They've
Is that
already
all?
dollars. I apologise. So what's that? £65
£50
probably these
Yeah.
days. They've sold out. I should say the spelling is curious. She spelt it rather like the former Liverpool player John Arnie Reeser,
Oh, yeah.
with 3 eyes. So he could always use them.
3 eyes.
Yes, I think he had 2
That's
or 3.
copying Al's. And Shine.
And guess,
That's why I did it.
guess how many eyes Shine has got? 3.
Okay.
She's copied you, Al. It is. I call it Reeser and Shani, is how she spelt it.
But there's an audience. They seem to have lots of money, the audiences of Fool's Gold, we might call it.
Yeah.
The thick pound, I think, is worth pursuing. Because we often
where
read
did they
about
get it?
people who... you remember the Advent calendar of Zoella? So people have got the money. This is a market. The Fools is a market
Fools?
worth pursuing. I say fools in the kindest possible. Me and David Baddiel used to have this distinction between fools and idiots. So idiots were people who
Yes,
actually
I
weren't
see
very
that.
nice.
They're offensive.
But fools are just fools. They don't, they don't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
They're just fools. And they sound to me like they're in this. I mean, they may have hurt people, but we all have, I suppose. Yeah. I've been asked to on several occasions, but that is a different story altogether.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
So we're talking about Kylie Jenner. She of,
Rise and shine fame.
yep.
TM.
What's the tune to it again?
Al,
Rise and shine.
he's
No.
changed it.
Now, what's
What's
it
he
go- how does it
changed?
go?
I don't
Hang on.
keep the tune.
Frank, I'll do all this. Rise and shine. Can you
Okay.
do it, please, Frank?
Rise and shine. There
You
go.
see that? Should be trademarked.
It's not much of a get-up, is it? I need to be startled awake nowadays. I basically need, jump leads to get
Right.
me out of bed.
Clear.
Someone went,
People
"Rise
shouting
and
clear in the
I
background.
just cuddle into, rise and shine. Yeah.
Just ignore it.
Yeah, it needs to be abrupt and alarming.
Well, I've got the
Well, alarming.
neighbours, fortunately, playing a little bit of Monica for my
that's a
life.
shame.
Yeah.
It gives me a chance to tell a story I'm sure I've told on this show before, but hey, it was when I did that show, The Bubble, when we were all locked
Yes.
away, and I asked the runner to get me an alarm clock because we had to get up at 8 o'clock, and he went out and I never saw him again. Didn't come back that night, so I had to get to bed with no alarm because we didn't have our phones. At 8 o'clock, he knocked on my door to wake me up, and when I opened the door, he gave me the alarm clock. Anyway,
We should say Travis Scott, who is
Travis Scott.
it was sort of a conscious uncoupling, one of those.
Oh, yeah.
They're co-parenting Stormy together. I found this rather sad. Travis Scott used to have a dollar bill sign at the end of his first name instead of the S.
Oh, like UKIP.
What I found...
UKIP have the pound sign. Always a mistake. I think they were never properly taken. It makes them look like pound stretcher or something like that.
Well, what I found rather poignant is that he withdrew it. He changed it. He did it for about a year, and then someone obviously said, "Oh, I don't like that pound sign."
I think I've seen other people use the dollar sign.
Maybe
He's got
he was
rid of
wanting
that
to
dollar
widen
sign.
his market. He was thinking, I'm not going to crack Europe with
Bitcoin.
this.
Should have gone for a...
Bitcoin.
Who was the guy who went
What about
into...
old school? He could have gone peseta.
Didn't LL Cool J, wasn't he, or 50 Cent or something was involved with Bitcoin?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was Fiddy.
Oh, was it Fiddy?
Yeah.
Oh, Fiddy was.
well,
Fiddy
he's-
made a
I think
fortune.
the irony appealed to us all.
But the dollar bill sign has now been removed from the name, just subtly.
Be careful, you'll lose the thick pound if you start thinking like that. That'll be that. They got to look after the gene pool. You know, you don't want like an Arthur Miller coming in and marrying one of them. And the whole thing will come down like a house of cards. You got to keep fools. You got to have a very strict fools only policy with the family and all their environs. God, I tell you, one intellectual in there is over. I'm warning you, ladies.
Ladies.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
On the subject of the rise and shine thing, this might be a bit of a left turn, but I've recently deliberately changed my greeting that I give to people as I'm walking the kids, or my daughter nowadays, to school. My son walks himself; he's a big boy. But yeah, I was walking to the school, and I realised that I thought I was saying, "Are you all right?" or "All right," like that.
Yeah.
But because it was morning, and I don't think people hear the consonants, I was basically grunting at people. I was walking past going,
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like you, Al.
I heard myself a couple of times and thought, I need to make a change here. And so now I say, hello.
That's nice.
Which is a bit sing-song and happy, but I'm considering that the work I've done...
It's a bit
Up to
teenage Japanese girl. I like that because they're always often very jolly.
I'm figuring that I won't give them the false impression that I'm like an upbeat teenage Japanese girl. I'm thinking they'll think, oh no, he's still a misanthropic dad. He's
And you
just
don't
saying
wanna
hello.
Cover your mouth with your hand and laugh.
No, exactly. But I used to do a thing about this. I need a warning if someone talks. Because people will sometimes say to me, all right, Frank, and because I don't know them, I don't know it's going to happen. And I will go, oh, and they've gone. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't ready. I didn't have my vocal cords ready to speak, so I made a noise.
Yeah.
Well, I had a moment of, I'm having that the other day with the driver who is familiar with our work and was talking specifically about that song, not Rise and Shine, the other famous song, Three Lions. And I was telling him the story about during the white heat of, it was last summer, wasn't it? Mm. And when you pass by someone having a heated conversation over the phone and they broke off their conversation to say, hang on a minute. And then they said... Yeah,
well, he was sort of saying, yeah, but I don't... Am I going to get there at that... It's coming home, Frank. Yeah, I'm going to get there at that time.
I told this driver that and he laughed. He went, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. I'm going to use that. But in what capacity? I said,
it's coming home.
In what capacity? He said, no, I'm going to do what he did. I'm going to do what he did. Well, you're depending on a lot. What you'd have to know. I don't know if he meant he was going to react like you did or like the man did. But anyway, thanks for your support.
Yeah. You're welcome. As they say in the southern states of America. The dollar sign, by the way, do you think did he drop the dollar sign after he split up with Kylie Jenner? Was it a sort of, that's not really relevant now I'm not married to the youngest billionaire on the planet. I'll have to go, maybe a cent sign.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Quite a few people are getting in touch with us telling us that Rise and Shine was originally from a 1979 Kellogg's advert.
Actually, it was a sort of Sunny Delight drink, wasn't it?
I
believe, yes.
But I think
it might be already trademarked.
Cornflakes might have used it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I hate trademarks.
Yeah,
there you go,
it doesn't work. I'll tell you what I like. I like when you get to the fairground, and despite Disney being one of the most enormous organisations in the world, you get those paintings of Disney characters that the fairground people have done, and they're not quite right. And obviously not cleared any of it, paid any rights whatsoever. So Mickey Mouse, often the snout on Mickey Mouse is a bit too narrow.
And you can't quite work out, Frank, if it's Pamela Anderson or Bonnie Tyler.
No. But can you ever?
Yeah, this is true. We're having a few people have just got in touch just to ask Frank, people listening on the Decade stations, they heard last week's episode earlier. So would you like to clear up?
Yeah, there's
had a small issue.
There's been a technical error, and
Yes.
the Decade stations, that is like absolute 80s, 90s,
Noughties.
zeros, 80s, 90s.
80s is mine. That's the one I
70s.
listen to.
It
Love
meant
80s.
that for some reason, which we don't know, the first link of last week's show went out instead of the first week. But
Yes.
we're back on now, I understand it. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. But, sometimes they're so good, they're worth hearing twice.
I'd say so.
I think that's
The
true.
Devil Made Me Do It has got in touch to say they...
I thought that was going to be something else she's going to patent.
The Devil Made Me Do It suggests crumbling OXO cubes into baked beans.
Ooh,
Now, I can
beefy.
see that working.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the poor man's balsamic vinegar, isn't it?
Literally.
Yeah, I would say so. Can I say, by the way, I mentioned Disney there briefly. There is a book out called Abject Quizzery by Carl Shaw, and we've been going through this book in the travel section of my tour. Me and Pierre and Omar, my tour.
I mean, what a
team.
triumvirate that is.
And I won the first quiz with a question about Walt Disney's association with the Nazis. So that was a moment.
Well done.
That's a lovely thing to get right.
It's got lots of it says the utterly depressing quiz book. So it's sort of some of the darker quiz.
So it's
questions.
a pun on abject misery.
Yes, I think it is.
Abject quizzery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But and its slogan is "No fun for all the family." quite good. But yeah, some good testing questions. So if you like a quiz, you might want to check it out.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, and email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I have spoken of late about there's a thing I've started doing now, is that if I'm on my own in like a cafe, or if I'm waiting, basically, I don't look at my phone. I
Good
just
for you.
sit and stare straight ahead.
I like that.
I think it creates a tension in the whole place. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think people like it.
Yeah.
And I was doing it yesterday. I was being picked up by my tour manager, and I went to a cafe.
Is this Omar?
Omar, yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a cafe in Harborne, Birmingham, called Paul at number 41. Paul's at number 41, which I like a lot, actually.
Is he there?
Yeah, Paul's there. And I was just sitting. In fact, I was staring into space to the point where Paul came over and gave me another pot of tea. And he said, just while you're sitting there, like, please do something.
Did you have any reading material whatsoever?
Well, I'd seen at one point I took out a notebook and wrote a few things down, and that seemed to alarm people even more.
Like a
I
copper?
think they might have thought I was with the social.
You might be hearing me scribbling. I'm just writing, if you stare vacantly for long enough, you get free tea in a
Yeah.
cafe. You know, I'm quite frugal.
So it was one of these cases where Omar had said to me, we'll be there at 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came at like 10:40.
Oh.
Now, I think people do that because they know they're not going to be there at 10:30. But
Yeah.
what they want to do is they don't want to break your heart straight off. They want to give you a bit of good news. And so because then they'll think, well, the disappointment will slowly drip in.
Okay.
It won't be a big blow. Personally, I
Yes.
would rather someone said to me, I'm going to be there
10:45.
at 11, and then they turn
Yes.
up at 10:40, and you think, oh, what a lovely surprise. I thought you were going to be here till 11.
Yeah.
Deferred gratification.
I agree.
Give me the bad news first, and then I get a lovely surprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also,
Although I find you
very
and Kath...
nearly Lombardi time, isn't it? If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late.
Yes.
Although him and Kath are very laid back, I find, about the arrangements.
Are they?
Often you say they'll be there. You can't. It's a stress-free household. That's why I like it.
Well, this sitting and staring is something now I've come to really like.
Okay.
And,
okay.
and I
It's new
really
hobby
make.
alert.
I'm talking about making no attempt. What? Not even looking at my watch. Just sitting and staring on my own.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Can I just say, do you ever stare at people, or is it just a point in the middle distance?
No, I'm not interested in. I'm
Tell
just
you what
thinking.
I like about it. It's such a portable hobby that you've got now.
Yeah. No,
No
but listen,
charger, nothing.
No, and it's
Brilliant.
It's very basic, yeah. But I'm thinking, I have ideas and stuff. Anyway, last night I was watching a TED Talk.
Okay.
And
Late to the party on TED Talks,
Yeah.
but anyway.
He was ordering his trousers from VHS
by
online.
a bloke who I'd never heard of before called Gary Leonard.
Right.
And he was talking about the way waiting rooms have got televisions and magazines and everything to stop it from looking like you're waiting. See, I like to absolutely play the I am waiting card. And this is what I wrote this down because it fitted. I thought this is exactly what I was thinking. He said, waiting is an awareness of being brought on by an absence of doing.
Right.
Well, yes, I like this.
That's why it frightens people.
Yes.
Because they become aware of being. They
We
go,
should probably
"Right,
explain when
why-
Frank says that he wrote that down. It's tattooed on his forearm, which is interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
also,
In
it
what I
is,
like to call Robin Hood writing, we used to call, which is that medieval time.
Well, is that a bit like when I did my own Magna Carta and I said to my mum, I need to burn the edges, and she threw a lighter at me, and I burnt the edges of the paper
Lovely.
to give it that medieval look.
Yeah.
Eoldi. I call it Eoldi
Burnt.
writing. But Frank, I agree with you on that. You see, the endless distraction is what I believe the Buddhists call it the monkey mind,
Oh, yeah.
jumping from tree to
People,
tree
of course,
endlessly.
they think, my phone will get me through this. You don't. It's all right.
Your
You're right on
phone?
your own. You're all right. Trust me.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I say a quick thank you to Mark Booth, who sent me a football review from 1968-69.
Lovely.
He also...
A late review.
You remember
Quite literally.
He sent Sydney the Sailboat books for Buzz ages ago. Anyway, thank you, Mark. I shall study it.
The thing I'm most proud of ever buying Buzz, it was a toilet training book. Do you remember that, Frank?
Oh,
yes.
Pirate Pete.
Pirate Pete went down so well.
If anyone at home is struggling with potty training their child, Pirate Pete is the way forward.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Life changer.
Can't recommend the system we use, which is just give them a chocolate button every time they do it properly. It's not the advice, but it did work.
Yeah.
I can't do that with my Ray.
No. We had a text in earlier from 689. You may remember that we were discussing the lyrics of Toto's Africa. Somebody had
Oh, yeah.
a bit of lyrical improvement. Frank and Emily, I can't mention Lyrical Confusion and Toto's Africa without me pointing out that Kilimanjaro does not rise above the Serengeti, as is suggested by the song, a fact that became apparent to me when I climbed the mountain for my 50th. Shame on you, Toto.
Oh, yeah.
It's Adrian from Solihull.
I don't remember Dorothy ever saying that.
No, exactly.
Shame on you, Toto.
That's in the
That'd be a
extras.
good
It's in the
text.
DVD
Wouldn't that be a
extras.
good text in factual inaccuracies in songs?
Yes.
You know where Roger Whittaker's I'm Gonna Leave Old Durham Town?
Yes.
And he says, when I was a boy, I'd spend my time sitting on the banks of the River Tyne. Well, you might have, but you weren't in Durham, if you were.
Well, I think it's not a factual inaccuracy, but more sort of from a eats, shoes and leaves grammar point of view. She eats, shoots and leaves, wasn't it? But it was, I believe it was All Saints who sung Never Ever. And the first line, I couldn't listen to it because it's a few questions that I need to know.
It's spoken, isn't it? The first.
She
bit?
says, a few questions that I need to know. It should be a few answers, surely.
Yeah, you can't know.
You
a
don't
few
need. Can I
questions.
know a few questions, please?
Unless, I suppose, if you're cheating in the exam,
Yeah.
you might need to know a few questions.
Although
I suspect they were.
I think she was also a late replacement on a pub quiz host a couple of times.
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
that you're both
yeah.
coming up with examples. This is good. You would need questions for that. Or if you'd encountered Bob Holness.
Yeah, or if you'd been called in standing for someone in a grilling.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, suddenly you're drafted in as
minute-
bad cop.
Last minute griller replacement. Griller, I say. Yeah. Yeah, that again, there's questions that you'd need to know.
But not to address a cheating boyfriend.
No.
I mean,
Which is how the song continues.
don't
Is
make
that
your
right?
pain worse.
No, by being grammatically.
Foolish.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good motto for
Okay.
life. I would.
I mean, if
say.
someone said a few questions I need to know, they'd be out the door anyway. Okay?
Okay, just relax. Now.
Now you've got to
I
say
mean,
you're
I
making
take
a
your
fool of
point. But you're
yourself.
going absolutely. I mean, you're going off the edge with it.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We just did a quiz out of Abject Quizzery, that book I mentioned by Carl Shaw.
It was great.
It's a very good idea for it. Was songs that only got to number 2, and you have to say which kept them out of the number 1 slot.
Yeah.
I did pretty badly.
You didn't. You did okay, but I did better.
Yes.
But my response, I screamed so
You did,
loudly
you
at my
went
victory.
crazy.
I went crazy.
Every one
The
you got
producer, one of the producers turned around and said "shush" to me.
Yeah, just for context, that means she thinks that you shouted so loudly even when the faders were down. She was
Yeah.
worried about it going out on the radio.
I like winning. I'm like Charlie Sheen in that respect.
The great
Sue me.
news about this, though, is that, and this is a slight spoiler, but there's many quizzes in the book, is that what one learns is that Robson and Jerome kept not only Wonderwall off number 1, but also Common People by Pulp off number 1.
There you go.
What does that tell you? It's better to be Buzz Aldrin than Neil Armstrong.
Yeah, that is pretty much. I hope you don't think that we've finished with Kyle Jenner. Is it Kyle or Kylie?
No.
It's Kylie, isn't it? Kylie.
Kylie?
Kyle is the
Come on, get it
Is
right.
Kyle a different person?
Kyle is the mother who seems
Oh.
such a nice person.
My
as you were.
apologies.
Is she
Anyway,
the momager?
Very
Kylie.
Kyle. Oh, I thought she was called Kyle.
You got it all wrong.
What's her name? Chris. She's Chris.
Anyway,
I do apologise.
Kylie,
Kylie.
it also tells us is on the cusp of releasing a Kylie Jenner microwave.
And coasters,
yeah.
Frank. That'd be nice
that
for you.
rings a bell.
Very good. I mean, it does make
And coasters.
like a bit of fun. If you were to do a kitchen product, what would you be? I'd go straight slow cooker. I'm definitely a slow cooker kind of character.
Kylie Jenner, presumably that only goes up to a minute. That microwave has the attention span of the thick pound people.
Or maybe 15 you could have for some of her partners. They have 15 minutes. And then I could have... I would say if you were going to introduce a kitchen item, Frank, based on... Well, you have the master pan.
Oh, yeah.
That's very...
I wouldn't
That you
mind
got for nothing.
a fresh ginger shaver,
Oh, really?
because they're very... there's lots of crevices on fresh ginger. It's hard
Yeah.
to get a good straight run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you freeze yours, it's worth freezing it.
freezing...
Fresh ginger.
Really?
If you freeze fresh ginger, you can still grate
I
it.
can't even say freeze fresh ginger, let alone do it.
But if you do, you can still grate it in, and it cooks. You don't, and it's actually a bit easier to
Hold
use.
on.
Harry
when
Bikers.
Hold on, freeze fresh...
Yeah.
Well, I like a copper-bottomed pan,
Who doesn't?
but Frank said he wouldn't be able to have those in his house.
Is that right?
Well, Kath, my partner, and her mother, when she stays, I would say they burn a pan a week.
Oh.
And I mean burn black
Mhm.
and the whole room full of smoke, and we have to, even in the dead of winter, we have to open all the doors and windows and everything. To
You know when dinner's ready in Frank's house? Smoke alarm.
Exactly, but that is, you wouldn't believe how often it happens. It sounds I'm exaggerating. I really am not. I don't even moan about it now. I don't think. It's just part of my life.
Always replacing pans.
Well, I don't replace them. We just eat them. Eat out of black pans. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
8, 12, 15, if you've got a tip for it's probably baking soda. I think people say
Leave them
baking soda will
overnight.
fix it.
I think someone will tell me. They leave them overnight on the hob.
Well, they can't anymore because this survey, Al. We were talking about Kylie, but there's been an interiors survey.
Oh yeah.
Suggesting the things by which people judge you when they walk into your house.
Well, I'm going to leave that as a cliffhanger because we've got the fares. But
I'm worried about you. Put it this way.
How do you judge someone when you go into their house? Have you seen Prick Up Your Ears?
Yes.
Okay.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
So
You were just talking about how we judge people's homes.
yes.
Well, not you in particular.
Apparently, the top 10 impressions when visiting a home, the first one is the smell, which, as a fan of the slow cooker, I don't know if I like this. People coming around and they go, is that
Highly
meat?
sensitive.
Well, in my house, they say, is that burning?
Is that a pan in the
Yeah.
background?
Well, there's, of course, we are always told, aren't we, if you're trying to sell a house.
Yeah.
I know not everyone owns their own home, but I'm just talking in a general thing, that you're supposed to make bread when people are coming round, which seems elaborate.
Baked bread. What is this? Chaucer's Britain?
Or
Fresh
coffee.
coffee, yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't
It
work for
takes
me.
people 38 seconds to make up their mind about your home.
Wow.
38.
So what, apart from the
God,
smell,
some
what
people have
else?
some really small homes, don't they?
And
What else are people looking at exactly?
what do they get upset about? They don't like. Well, they judge you by the smell. They also judge the temperature. I think that's
I
second
do
on
that.
the list.
I do that so many places. I go to someone's house and I go, just wish I'd worn shorts. It's
Yeah,
roasting.
yeah.
Well, obviously, it
People-
won't surprise you
Yeah.
to know. I think the opposite.
Yeah.
I think it's like
But the smell, when I lived back in Worley in the West Midlands,
Yes.
people's houses had incredibly distinct smells.
Yeah.
You could have took me blindfolded to someone's house and I could have told you what house it was just from the smell. Whereas now in sophisticated London, people have eradicated their individual smells and replaced them with some synthetics.
yes.
I used to have a bit of material that I really enjoyed about a TV advert where there was an air freshener for sale that had 6 different scents and one of them was open window.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine how much fun it was to make fun of that.
Yes, indeed. That is
Also
rubbish.
on the list.
Open window air freshener. I won't do it. Anyway.
Also on the list, Al, was whether it's been vacuumed, and there were some strong views on washing up being done.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that in the age of the dishwasher.
See, I look for things like if there's a black and white photograph framed of Marilyn Monroe,
Yeah.
I write them off as human beings.
So do I.
You do seem to judge people's framed photographs a little bit.
Well, of course.
Also,
I did walk into John Culshaw's flat and he had a signed photo of the Red Arrows. I still haven't quite worked out what it told me about the great impressionist. A man who doesn't want to make a bad impression, it has to be said. Yeah, but even so, I'd go for that over a black and white Marilyn Monroe.
where do you stand on black and white photo of men working on the skyscrapers?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Easy one.
nice.
That's out
Nice. No, I like that.
What about coffee table book?
I'll tell you what might win
let
me
the
over.
ladies finish. World of classic cars. Come on.
Oh,
Any car books?
That is good.
Out.
Any coffee table book at all is out for me.
Interiors books out.
I'll tell you what might win me over on the wall
Go on.
is dogs playing pool.
Oh, yeah.
I might think,
That's a good shout.
they
course,
might be all right, these people.
Matt Goss of Bros fame,
Yeah.
had a painting done of his bulldog drinking a pint.
Brilliant.
Now that I can go with. It's personalised.
Real classy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I like as well in a home. A vibrant corkboard.
Oh, yeah.
You know, photos, business cards, aide de memoirs, really sort of overflowing corkboard. It looks like a real family life to it there.
No, that makes me stress. I think sort of Claire Danes in Homeland or Murder CSI. It looks like a
I always
please
think
board.
Douglas Coupland. You know Douglas Coupland wrote Generation X?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know how he got his writing start?
Yeah.
That
No.
someone... this woman who was a friend of Douglas Coupland's, she had a friend who was a magazine editor, and he went round their house, and Douglas Coupland had sent this woman. He wasn't a writer, Douglas Coupland. He'd sent her a postcard which was on the corkboard, and this magazine editor read the postcard, and he thought it was so brilliantly written. He said, "Who wrote you this? I'd like to offer him a job."
Wow.
And that's how he got the job. I
That's
mean,
good.
come on. So get those postcards going, you would-be writers.
That's how you got Doctor Who. Oh, no, you didn't. You asked for it on the radio
Yeah,
show.
I begged publicly. That's what I did.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Can I just tell you one thing I loathe in houses? Just FYI.
People.
That would be me.
No, they're at number 3. But dark bed sheets. I can't enter dark bed sheets. Black, navy, purple, forget about it.
Yeah.
I like to know what's happening.
Yeah.
I like full transparency.
Okay.
I like a white
see-through.
shower curtain.
Actually, wouldn't see-through bed sheets be quite... See-through bed, you know, everything.
Yeah.
See-through duvet and stuff.
That's
Be
only
quite-
because it's quite Doctor Who and you like that.
Yeah,
It's
I
something
like
Doctor Who
that.
would have. But I can't bear dark bed sheets.
One of my problems is mog trees. If I saw a mog, too precarious.
Oh, you think?
Oh, I always think they so look like they're going to go over.
The flat I stayed in Edinburgh had a mug tree and I quite enjoyed it, but it was only for a month. It's not-
I don't mind a hook. I don't mind suspending, but not. I don't
So
like.
I've heard. I think that the thing we can all agree on, though, is anyone that has a sign in the kitchen saying, "But first coffee,"
Oh, yeah.
nah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We borrowed a friend's house in September whilst they were away. And
No, did you pay them?
No.
Okay.
They didn't know.
About 3 nights in, I said to my wife, I'm presuming that they've got an ensuite bathroom with a bath in it. And she said, oh, no, they haven't got a bath. Their house didn't have a bath. And it was a beautiful house, but I
Yeah,
did say
but
to my
some
wife,
people don't, but-
how can they live like this?
That wouldn't bother me, I don't think.
Oh,
Okay.
Can I say, though, Dan in Lancs has said, I have the picture of MM and others eating lunch on a skyscraper construction site. The pic is called Shooting Break, and I love it. So there. I would say to you, Dan, I think that's fair enough.
We're all different.
And I do worry a bit about this good taste epidemic. Yes, it is an epidemic. Stop obsessing over people's houses.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well,
judge them by the content of their character.
what
yeah,
about if they've
rather
got
than their front room?
If they got big mouth Billy Bass?
Well, they're legends,
Or
aren't
the
they?
dancing sunflower.
Yeah.
I'd love it if someone had that on their coffee table.
I'd like you go to buy their house and they'll say, hold on a minute, have a look at this, as if no one's ever seen it before. There will be people who see their sunflowers and it's completely new to them.
Oh,
We
I'd
had an
love
answer
it.
to Pangate, didn't we?
Yes, some good advice from 113. Frank, leave pan on low heat for about 30 minutes to 1 hour with clothes wash powder.
Oh, wow.
Pans come up like new. ... I am a weekly pan burner, lol.
Wow. I'm a pan burner. Weekly pan burner.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been such a big hit, would it? I'm a pan burner.
Also, Siobhan Kay, just who's at Cruzette, put water in the burnt pan, put it back on the job to boil. The black should scrape off easily.
But what about the outer black on the outside of it?
If you boil it.
Is this from someone from Le Creuset?
No, I believe that's that's her handle.
Oh,
Oh, okay. What is Le Creuset?
it's a pot manufacturer.
Ah,
We're going to have
Expensive,
okay.
but brilliant.
Well, I don't want them calling the pot black. Okay. I remember I went to a mate of mine's house, Tim, who they had a bit more money than the rest of us, I'll be straight with you.
Tim Burton.
And we went to, that was actually his name. It was.
Was it the actual Tim Burton?
Yeah, no, it wasn't the actual. Of course it wasn't.
Okay.
He wasn't born then. And went to their house, and in the middle of the table, they didn't have salt, pepper, tomato ketchup and all, because everyone I knew just had that perpetually in the middle of the table. It never left. There was a little island, like a New York skyline of malt vinegar, salt, pepper.
Really?
And it's my first experience of Zen, I think. a table that didn't have that in the middle of it completely blew me away. High aspirations. They can be painful. Anyway, thank you for listening to us. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.